The first time I heard about Ergo was about 8 months ago. It was described as an Oracle and therefore direct competitor to Chainlink. It was also listed as an Oracle project in the Cardano ecosystem. So, number one, Ergo is a blockchain. It's not just an Oracle project. We did have a framework that came out last year that was called Oracle Pool V1. That was an approach where instead of having point-to-point data, we were trying to create a system of distributed assumptions and control to where Oracle data is hardened more than the standard today. It's somewhat similar to bridges where you do have oracles that are point-to-point, meaning it's a potential choke point for an attack. There's one actor that is broadcasting data, and that's sometimes securing a tremendous amount of value on smart contracts. And so there have been different Oracle attacks that have existed in our industry. And so the Oracle Pool framework was and is an approach to decentralized trust around that type of data. Now, in V1, it was kind of the proof of concept. It actually is live on Ergo. It's been running for over a year now, I think, with Sigma USD. There were some inefficiencies to the initial design. The distribution of trust aspect is solid, but if you're going to try to build a commercial product, you need to have it efficient. And I think, we've been looking at that and working on a, let's just say update, redesign in terms of how it actually functions on the smart contract level, what the payouts are. The first build was a little bit dusty. I would say the incentives weren't quite where they should be. So that's something we've continually been working to update. If you hop into the weekly developer update, you'll see Green Hat pretty much weekly going through V2, implementing it into Sigma Rust. Now, that was one thing that the Cardano ecosystem was really excited about when they were rolling out smart contracts. The potential for Ergo to work with Cardano. I don't see that as changed. And, the reality is, I believe they're going to be doing hard fork in June. I'm going to say June. That's going to actually allow data inputs, which is a pretty important part of having performant oracles in UTXO. It's kind of understanding that if you don't have data inputs, which are kind of stagnate, updatable boxes, you have to consume and create a new box every time you use Oracle data. And that's really inefficient. It's costly, it requires more computation than really is optimal for that type of framework. Now, the reality is we've kind of known that Cardano is going to be building out their smart contract framework and their throughput as, we are kind of doing something similar in our ecosystem. So I never thought it was going to be like a day one thing 8 months ago. Sometimes people get a little overexcited and they forget about like the technical development and let's just say path to market that things have. So we've spent the last 8 months optimizing. We have a test partner with Wave Enterprise that's going to be working with private commercial entities to try to plug in Oracle V2. They're already kind of playing with Oracle V1, but the reality is Oracle V2 is significantly improved versus V1 for economic efficiency. So I do think that that's still on the table. Now, our goal is to build the tool, pass it to the community, and let people build with it, rather than being a centralized entity that kind of manages everything. I know that users kind of love that as a marketing concept, but the reality is we're a decentralized system, right? So once we release Oracle V2, there's going to be actors that set up their own federated groups, let's call it, of Oracle actors, providers. I hope there's tooling that allows them to build reputation. And then it's a matter of plugging in, applications, whether on-chain or off-chain, to empower smart contracts. Now, the Oracle framework actually has a couple of different paths it can take. One is going to be off-chain via, like a API that's broadcasted and plugged into another ecosystem. There is also the potential to have everything on-chain, where you have the Oracle data basically minted on-chain in the form of a token with some metadata attached to it, or some data in the registers. And that actually moves through a bridge to another chain that can then read, decipher, and use that. So there's actually both paths, and it's just a matter of where and when it makes sense, what's competitive, and ultimately what potential partners need, right? And I think that at least in terms of Cardano, that's not something that has fully been adopted yet. There's not a lot of oracles that I'm aware of that are even live. So I think that's just a matter of building to that point. And both systems are concurrently, so I don't see it as a negative or a big issue. It's just something that we're working on.